HDTV, or standard definition television, is currently using 625 lines. This is based on the current analog standard. High definition television is based much more on computer standards, where we're looking at a pixel count. In this case, the typical dimension that we're interested in is the vertical count, the vertical pixel dimension, which is typically 720 pixels in the vertical direction, or 1080. There are two other standards we should consider. You'll often see them written as 720p or 1080i. The P is for progressive scan and the I is for interlaced. Interlaced is the standard that we currently have with analog standard definition television, which is where each field of the screen is scanned twice. First of all, the odd numbered lines are scanned, and then the even number lines are scanned. These two frames are interlaced together to give the overall 625 lines. That same interlacing is possible with 1080 high definition television, but there is also the progressive scan, which is the scanning system that computer monitors have been using. Progressive is where all lines of the picture are scanned sequentially, from 1 all the way through to 720 for 720p, or 1 all the way through to 1080 for 1080p. HDTV broadcasts at the moment are on the cable and the satellite systems operated by Sky and Telewest. The next major development that we're all expecting is from the telecommunications companies, people like BT, who will be bringing out IPTV, which is Internet Protocol-based television, which we're using broadband telephone lines rather than cable, coaxial cable or satellite feeds. So all of these systems, IPTV, cable and satellite, will be capable of carrying HDTV feeds. BT Vision service is BT's broadband IPTV service, which has just launched this December 2006 and will be going live, will be increasing in coverage over the next few months. It is based on their broadband. It is offering IPTV currently at standard definition, although they are obviously looking to include high definition on that in the next coming months and years. Basically, it is offering video on demand in an IPTV format, although broadcast TV will be using the Freeview service. The boxes they are using, the set-top boxes they are using, are Philips boxes using Microsoft middleware, and the boxes will have 2 receivers, Freeview receivers within them to receive the broadcast, and they'll receive their video on demand service online over the broadband access. HDMI is a high definition multimedia interface currently supporting standard definition and the high definition formats we've been looking at. Although it may need modifications or revisions to the standard to support the next generation of even higher resolutions. To make things easier for the general public, the HDMI connector is the connector that will be broadly publicised and broadly used. This is to make connections more or less universal for an easier hookup for subscribers to use. The next generation of high definition resolution standards are generally referred to as QXGA. These are the quad extended graphic arrays. There's quite a lot of standards looking at here, as you can appreciate. Monitors and graphics cards and technology in general is moving on, and obviously there's going to be resolutions that can be supported way beyond what we currently understand as HDTV. QXGA can support or is defining a set of standards all the way up to typically 3000 by about 2000 or even beyond that, typically to about 9.2 megapixels for a screen. It's very high, and to date, and certainly for the foreseeable next year or so, we don't anticipate that there'll be any popular market devices, both in monitors or graphics cards, support these. They are purely professional standards at the moment, but we do see these coming through to the general market later on. The MPEG-2 standard has been with us for several years. In fact, it was first standardised back in the early 90s. The reason why we're now able to standardise on MPEG-4 is that because, of course, over this last decade or so, we've seen massive improvements in computing platforms, both in processing power and storage and so on. To date, high-definition TV has been distributed using the current standards of MPEG-2. This typically takes in the region of between 11 megabits per second all the way up to 18 megabits per second for the transmission, compared to standard definition TV standards, which are in the region of 3 to 6 megabits per second. So that's a lot of bandwidth. Fortunately, we are now seeing the next generation of standards for transmission incorporates MPEG-4 standards. Particularly the AVC and the AAC. AAC is advanced audio coding. AVC is the advanced video coding. The bit we're interested in here is the AVC, which is the advanced video coding. This is going to reduce the bit rate. It's providing a much more advanced compression scheme and should bring standard definition TV down to anywhere between 0.5 and 2 or 3 megabits per second. For high definition TV, it's going to bring it down to anywhere between 3 and 6 megabits per second. Tamberg have told me they think they can get high definition TV in certain cases down to even 2 megabits per second. The MPEG-4 standard aims to bring about a series, in fact, of 22 parts within MPEG-4. The main ones that we're interested in at the moment are the AAC, the advanced audio coding for sound, obviously, and AVC for the video part. Over and above that, however, MPEG-4 standardises a lot of new technologies which are aiming to bring more than just serial video or serial audio into the program content. It can include a lot of additional audio-video capabilities, a lot of graphics capabilities. A lot of this is based on the object-oriented standards that have been used to within computing platforms over the last 10, 20, 30 years. And so we can start to visualize, we can start to think of components or media components within an MPEG-4 transmission as being a series of objects. This makes it much more interactive and can combine a great degree of interactive services for use by the receiving subscriber. MPEG-4 offers the sort of thing that it can offer is the user being able to manipulate objects which have been downloaded. We can, for example, extract a certain person or a certain object within the video scene and allow that object to be clickable, so that the end user can click on the man if he likes a suit, and that can take you off to a website to be able to buy the suit. Fancy things like that. Perhaps it should be said that obviously in this commercial world, perhaps one of the places where we'll see this being adopted first is within interactive advertising and personalised advertising. There are, of course, two standards which are vying against each other at the moment. There's the Blu-ray and there's the high-definition DVD. The Blu-ray has, if you regard these as layers, layers which are built upon the disc, having a capacity of 25 gigabytes. At the moment, the current developments are looking at 2 layers, so that's 50 gigabytes, although TDK claim to have 6 layers, taking it up towards the 200 gigabyte capacity for one disc. For HDTV, it is a much reduced capacity per layer, but again they are looking at multi-layer discs. The capacity per layer is 15 gigabytes, but again developments are looking at providing more and more layers per disc. So it's a bit of a moot point which of these two standards is in the lead, and indeed it's the future of the two. It looks rather questionable anyway, now that there are new formats like online downloading, and also you must look at the other aspects which are affecting the industry. For example, if you're going to look at video rentals and those sort of things, then if you're the video renting store, what repertoire do you go with? Do you choose to cover the whole repertoire with both Blu-ray and HD DVD? or do you go for one or for the other? And then of course there's the big headache of trying to explain the different formats to the end users. So the success of either or both of these formats is far from assured. The future of high definition technology, of course, is looking for higher and higher definitions. We talked about QXGA earlier on, and of course we're looking for graphics cards and monitors to improve and to provide these high resolutions. And of course that also means that we're looking for the processing capabilities within the processing platforms, be that the personal computer or the set-top box. And of course we're also looking, in that case, if we want to transport these things, we're looking for transportable media, which of course would mean cable, satellite and IPTV. HDTV is one of the developments currently being applied into the new next generation of set-top boxes, along with MPEG-4 support and indeed Wi-Fi support as well. For the MPEG-4, there has been a slight problem with set-top boxes over the last few months. There has been a shortage in the industry, and indeed IPTV rollouts have suffered from the shortage of chips for set-top boxes to support MPEG-4, and so therefore HDTV has suffered a bit of a knockback as well. But that supply line is starting to move again, and so we'll be seeing MPEG-4 and HDTV on more and more set-top boxes in the near future. HDTV services are currently being offered at a premium by both Sky and Telewest. I see them continuing to make this a premium service for a long time to come. BBC are also looking to provide these services. Whether they provide them as premium services remains to be seen. It is worth noting that at a recent conference in early December in 2006 in Gatineau in Ottawa, Canada, that the CEO of CBC, the Canadian Broadcasting Company, said that there was no business case for HDTV. He says that the infrastructure for the distribution of high definition programs needs about 25% more investment than for standard definition, and so therefore the business case was not totally assured. He said that there was nothing wrong with the program manufacturers to shoot material in high definition TV for distribution, but they shouldn't automatically expect that the cash will always be there for these programs to be bought.